Major Laser. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Houston Rockets Daily. My name is Jackson. I post daily Houston Rockets content, so hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoy it. Today, we are going to talk about a couple of different things, but feel free to go ahead, drop some comments down below, trying to make these more or just as enjoyable as possible for my non-live viewers. Our last live stream from this past weekend has like 1.5 thousand views. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. That's what I'm talking about. Houston Rocket Nation, guys, we're back. I don't care if we win 20 games. I don't care if we win 30 games. If we win 40 games, I'll be absolutely amped. But the tides are changing. All right. Things are moving. Things are in motion. I trust Rafael Stone. And I also trust Steven Silas. I know a lot of you guys don't trust Steven Silas, but I trust Steven Silas. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. Real quick, let's take a look at the chat. We got Savage Beast. What is up, my brother? Appreciate you. And we have Thomas from outside Toronto tuning into a Houston Rockets live stream. So I appreciate you, my man. Thomas, tomorrow I will be live on the show alone. So feel free to pop on in. If you even want to be in it, let me know and I can Facebook message you a link. Old man, I'm just kidding. So I've been doing some dives on the Houston Rockets, and I find it real quick. I want to say how absurd it is to find a live recording of the Houston Rockets game because I have yet to find one. I have yet to find a live recording of the Houston Rockets game. It's so stupid, man. If you pay for League Pass, give me the damn game. Give me the game. I don't care if it's not on NBA TV. Give me the damn game. I'm paying you $100, which I guess isn't in the grand scheme of things. I've been able to watch every single preseason game so far, except for the Houston Rockets. It's blowing me. It's blowing my mind. What's a Facebook message? Dude, you gotta be joshing me because I think you're joshing me. Anyways, speaking of Joshes, should we talk about Josh Christopher? No, I kind of want to talk about a couple of different things. We'll get it started with, I guess, just more Jabari and Tari because we titled this the JATARI Safari, which is the runner-up currently, or I guess it's actually the leader for the nickname for this deadly duo. What's up, Shade? Lovely to see you with the profile picture. Hell yeah. So, actually, let's talk about Ty Washington. I want to talk about some things about Ty Washington Jr. So let's go ahead. You're joshing me. All right, I knew you were joshing me. Like, what? What is this man talking about? Okay, when you Google Ty Washington Jr., a picture of Jalen Green shows up. What? What in the world? Basically, I have thoughts on Ty Washington Jr. and like, of course. Man, I give a lot of respect to Ciro because I don't know how the hell he does this. Can we just open this image, man? No, of course not. Why would we ever be able to open this? No. All right. Well, there goes that. I guess we'll just present the ESPN screen. All right. Well, at least it gives us Ty Washington Jr. and Daishen Nix's statistics from their first preseason game. So this is a battle to watch, and this is one of the biggest battles that we have. It's Ty Washington Jr. versus Daishen Nix right now, currently for the backup point guard role, who hopefully, as we say time and time again, hopefully eventually Eric Gordon maneuvers his way back onto the bench and that he can split ball handling duties and playmaking duties with one or the other. Now, I will say this about Ty Washington Jr. because he entices me for a number of different reasons. First things first, he models his game after Chris Paul. And I bet you now that if you didn't know that, Now, when you watch Ty Washington Jr., a lot of it will make sense. He moves with this because obviously he's lacking size. He lacks, he has athleticism, but he's not like a 6'5", 220 point guard like Daishen Nix. Daishen Nix is 6'5", 225 pounds. Ty Washington Jr. is 6'3", but he's more of your classic point guard where he looks to set his teammates up first. Daishen Nix, I was just reading an article, I think it was on the dreamshake.com, where they were comparing Daishen Nix to, I think the word was like a pig English James Harden. So basically, in my words, Daishen Nix, they're comparing Daishen Nix to like a very, very budget, like a budget of a budget James Harden, where, he's looking more so because he's 6'5", 220. He's more so looking to use his body, whereas Ty has to be a little bit smarter because he isn't as big, he isn't as tall, where he has to kind of maneuver his way. He's got to be smart. He has to be perfect with his timing. He has to just be a smart player on both sides of the court. And to be honest with you, I think Ty currently has the nod. I saw a poll saying, who do you want as the backup point guard for the Houston Rockets? It was Ty, Daishen, and I think other and see result, something like that. 66% of people said Ty Washington Jr. should be our backup point guard. Now, the issue with Daishen Nix, and maybe we can actually see some of his stats from last season, he can't shoot free throws. Like, he just literally, look at this. Last season, he shot 53.3% from the free throw line. Peace out, Savage. Appreciate you. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you tuning in to tonight's live stream and all your chats and just your subscription in general. But Daishen Nix is shooting. Bro, if Daishen is not shooting, he didn't shoot well from the free throw line in Summer League, and he didn't shoot well from the free throw line. So my guess is if Daishen Nix was like a 70% free throw shooter at the very worst, I think they would be giving the nod to Daishen. I really think so. The Houston Rockets, and we talked about this on the last live stream, have major issues at the free throw line, and it doesn't make sense. It all stemmed with Christian Wood shooting like 55% from the free throw line in the first couple of weeks of the season. He was shooting less than 60%, and he was like, it's all mental. It's all mental, and I'll figure it out. Well, unfortunately for Christian, he never figured it out, and he infected his teammates. Kevin Porter Jr. shot brutally from the free throw line for most of last season, and even Daishen Nix, even just in general, you got to keep in mind, he played 24 games. However, he only averaged 11 minutes a night, didn't get any starts. So we're taking it with a grain of salt. However, in 11 minutes, if you're turning the ball over and you're shooting 40% and you're shooting 27% from downtown and you're shooting 53% from the free throw line, that's not what I'm looking for. That is not what I'm looking for in any way, shape, or form. And of course, in the first preseason game right here, he shot 0-1 from the free throw line. So I'm still giving the nod to Ty. Daishen's one of those guys where I hope he fixes his free throws, and I hope that he gets an opportunity on a different roster, because last season with our G League affiliate, Daishen put up over 20 points. He gave you over 6 rebounds, and he gave you 7.5 assists while shooting good from everywhere. So Daishen, former 5-star, the potential's there, but the thing you also have to remind yourself is Ty Washington Jr. got injured at the beginning part of Kentucky's season last year. Where was Ty Washington Jr. projected to fall in the draft before he got injured? I'll answer it for you, for those of you who aren't aware. Ty Washington Jr. was projected to be a lottery pick at the start of last season and for a good, decent chunk of last season in college, and then he gets injured. And so what does he do? Well, he actually stuck with it. And he put up some solid stats, some solid numbers for being injured for the season. Ty Washington Jr., if he had not gotten injured, or if he had even just pulled a Shadon Sharp, got injured, and they just shut down Ty for the remainder of the season, I bet you he gets picked in the top 14 in the NBA draft lottery. So I think the fact that we were able to get Ty Washington Jr. at 29, late first round pick, I think it's just very important to remind yourself that Ty Ty was projected to be in the lottery. We kind of almost have 3 lottery picks. I know Tari Eason fell to 17 and he wasn't in the lottery, but I think if they did a redraft right now, just seeing the way Tari has played in Summer League and in one preseason game, 21 minutes, 21 points, 9 of 13 from the field, 1 of 2 from downtown, and 10 rebounds. He led the Summer League in rebounds. I think he'd fall in the lottery. I think that's a pretty safe guess. So that's just something to note when we're talking about Daisha Nix versus Ty Ty. I really think Ty Ty has the leg up, and I think he is going to be that guy. Now, moving on, let's talk KJ Martin Jr. Because KJ Martin Jr. in preseason, he actually got subbed in very quickly. And if you could see on these minute lists, team high 24 Jabari, but right behind him 23 with KJ Martin Jr. The Houston Rockets are in no rush to trade KJ Martin Jr. In fact, I would bet if this stuff didn't go on with his dad saying he should go somewhere else to get more playing time, and we have all these rumors of him being disgruntled with losing. Guys, he went from 23 minutes a night to 21 minutes a night in your second league or in your second year in the league. I think a lot of people would agree with this statement, but as far as I'm concerned, you're not even 21. You can't even legally drink, KJ. Or maybe now now you can probably legally drink. Let's just double check it. Okay, now you can legally drink. For most of the last season, KJ, you couldn't legally drink alcohol. You got to work your way into the rotation. Now, the issue is that there's all this rumored. What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? There's all this rumored disgruntlement with KJ, and I was reading an article from Kelly Iko, one of my favorite Houston Rocket beat writers, and he was talking about how it's just in both interests to trade him away. It's just, keep the locker room, save the locker room in case that's even an issue. And what you also do is you free up minutes. When we take a look at the backup power forward spot, because you got to keep in mind, KJ Martin Jr. is probably the best cutter on our basketball team. He's a very good weak side blocker as well. Not a good ball handler, good from downtown. He can score on his own. Like I said, very good cutter. So he works well with the Houston Rockets system. But, when we look at the power forward position or just the forward position in general, Jabari Smith Jr., all right, power forward. Usman Gruba, all right, power forward. Bruno Fernando, forward. Tari Eason, forward. Garrison Matthews, used as a forward. Josh Christopher can be used as a forward. They have a lot of guys that you want to give minutes to. So it might be in the Houston Rockets' best interest to go ahead and let go of KJ Martin Jr., as doggy as that sounds. So we're going to open it up right now. We're about 15 minutes into this live stream. We're going to open it up to any questions or any statements that you guys have. We're not getting too many chats right now. So if anyone has something they want me to address or to just talk about or any questions like that. Shout out to Chris, though, the best thumbnail guy that the Houston Rockets could offer. Houston Rockets, if you're watching this video, if you're affiliated with the Houston Rockets, take a look at Rocket News because he posts some of the best thumbnails I've actually ever seen. So, all right, Savage is unfortunately no longer here, but as an Auburn fan, I've been loving watching Jabari play and all the other SEC rookies. So, if you watch any college sports, especially college football, SEC kind of runs it. And anytime, especially in football, anytime an SEC player is drafted, I feel good because they're well coached. They have good teammates. The SEC is just a very good conference. So Jabari Smith Jr., man, I had my buddy Nick on, who's a big Florida Gator fan, and he loves Jabari Smith Jr. 6'11", he views him as the next or a possible Kevin Durant, very similar basketball style to Kevin Durant. And as we saw it, and something we were talking about heading into the game on Sunday was Jabari Smith Jr., he's got this swagger to him, and we saw it. Walked right up, got the ball, walked right up, drains a three. So you're already seeing it right now with Jabari. But all right, we finally got a question in from Miguel. What's up, Miguel? Thank you for watching. How many wins you see us getting in a good year? So, you got to keep in mind, it was preseason, right? We held San Antonio to 96 points. However, they were without their best player, Keldon Johnson. That's good for probably 10 to 15 points because it's preseason. We played a bottom league team. Well, it's preseason in general, so I'm not putting too much stock into it, but we have Toronto on Friday. I think Toronto's going to give us a little bit better of a gauge. I do, unfortunately, think Toronto is going to beat us. I think Toronto is one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and the NBA in general. I think the Toronto Raptors are a low key, NBA Finals might be a bit of a stretch. They need some things to happen, but Toronto's a good basketball team. So we'll have a better idea in just a handful of days on Friday. I think in a good year, though, we get somewhere between 30 to 35 wins. I think more realistically, in just a normal year, if it's not a good year, I think we'll be somewhere between 25 and 30. I saw the Houston Rockets over under is 23 and a half. Sorry. Their Vegas odds are 23 and a half. Now, this isn't financial advice in any way, shape, or form. I'm not a bettor. I'm not taking a bet on this. If I could take a bet on this, though, I will say I would. The Houston Rockets win total projection is 23 and a half. I don't see a world where Houston doesn't get 24 wins. That's just me. Chris would agree with me right here. I was thinking we might win 25 or 30 games. Houston, we lost guys like Christian Wood. And regardless of your thoughts on Christian Wood's a good basketball player. In fact, last season, he was our statistically best basketball player. Now, if he was still on the roster, as we said all offseason, while he was on our team, Christian Wood's days as being our best player are probably numbered with Jalen Green entering his second season. We got Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Kevin Porter Jr., Elpern Şengün. I don't think Houston clears 30 wins. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if we got to 30 wins, but I do think we'll fall somewhere between 25 and 30. So I guess my answer would be 27 or 28 wins for Houston this upcoming season. It's not going to be an ugly. You will have ugly nights. You'll have less ugly nights than we did last season, and especially 2 seasons ago once we traded away James Harden, and it was just kind of Christian Wood and John Wall doing their thing. And once we got Kevin Porter Jr., the games become a lot more watchable. But the Houston Rockets will definitely be very watchable this upcoming season because of our offense. It's going to come down to defense. It's just going to come down to defense. I don't think defensively we're where we want because we have a lot of young players and they're developing their defensive games. Now, we do have defensive-oriented guys like Tari Eason and even Jabari Smith Jr., but, that's just 2 players right there. So I think 25 to 30 would be a nice little number. 30 wins, as Thomas is saying. I think that'd be a good season for us. All right? So keep asking questions. Keep going with it because, like I said, we had like 1.5K viewer. We had, I think, 200 live ones in this past weekend's live stream, and they all came at the end of it. So hit that sub button if you guys haven't already, but I think we got mainly subs in here right now. I really like that starting lineup that we did against the Spurs. This will be the starting lineup you see heading into the regular season. And I'm not looking too much at minutes right now, but I would have to say I think Eric Gordon starts and finishes the games, but I do think he'll be subbed out relatively quickly especially if Tari Eason continues playing like he did in the first preseason game for the duration of it. And if we get into the first couple of games and Tari Eason's doing what he did in Summer League and preseason, he'll definitely be looking at a spike in minutes. But I think we can kind of solidify Tari Eason will definitely clear 20 minutes. It's kind of doggy that was even a question to be asked, but Tari Eason will definitely clear it. He'll definitely clear 20. I want to see Tari Eason get 25 at night. That's what I want to see. And I want to see plenty of lineups. I want to see plenty of rotations where we have Jabari and Tari out on the court at the same exact time like we did in the preseason game because they're almost interchangeable. They both can shoot the 3. They both can defend. They both can switch onto guards. They both can switch onto forwards, their main position. They both can switch onto centers if need be while they wait for help. So it's going to be interesting, but hopefully we see enough Atari. I don't think Eric Gordon sticks in that starting lineup for all that long. All right, Miguel. If one had to go, would it be Eric Gordon or Tate? Well, I'm going to go with Eric Gordon just because of his age here. Jae'Sean Tate isn't necessarily old, but he'll be 27 this month. Let's just get a quick stat check. I'm pretty positive I'll Google it. Pretty sure Jae'Sean Tate turns 27 here. He turns 27 on October 28th. The thing with Jay Sean Tate, though, is we just re-signed him. So I think because Eric Gordon's on his last technical year of his contract, Jay Sean Tate's here for 3 more years. I'm going Tate for various different reasons. Jay Sean Tate's an interesting guy to look at, though. I mean, the only really reason I could see Jay Sean Tate getting traded is if the KJ Martin shenanigans and antics or offseason drama didn't go down. Maybe they decide to run with KJ Martin Jr. as the backup to Jabari and Tari, but Tate's going to be on this team, and I'm happy Tate's on this team. And I think Tate missing that game with a sprained ankle, sore ankle, it was already mentioned that he would play. If this was the regular season, Jay Sean Tate would have played, but since it's the preseason and he's nursing an ankle, they gave him the night off. So I'm curious, actually, on Friday, hopefully Jay Sean Tate plays. We might already know if Jay Sean's playing that game that day, but I really want to see an improved shot from Jay Sean Tate. I really want to see that. All right, what's up, Tubi? We got an OG chatter, OG follower in the chat here. Rockets going to the play-in. Well, so it's really interesting. My only issue with them making the play-in is first off defense and just how good the Western Conference really is. So let's go down the line here real quick. Golden State playoff team, we got 1. Grizzlies 2, Clippers 3. I'll leave the Kings here for a second. Pelicans 4, Mavericks 5, Timberwolves 6, Blazers 7, Suns 8, Nuggets 9, Lakers 10. I'm throwing Sacramento in there. So you got like 11 teams that should make the playoffs. All right. Now, the Kings actually, some news came out today that I think this might be a rumor. I don't think this is confirmed, because if this was confirmed, it'd probably kill the locker room. But I saw a rumor earlier today that if the Kings aren't in the playoff hunt by the trade deadline, that De'Aaron Fox will be looking for a trade, looking for a new home. So that would kind of disqualify them. So, I'm being really generous here and saying we'll get Sacramento out of here, although they should realistically be on the list. We already have 10 teams there. So I think the Rockets will be relatively competitive in the play-in team tournament. I think we'll be slightly better than Utah, San Antonio, Oklahoma, just because Chet is injured. Shea's also currently injured. So I think we'll be in the hunt for the play-in tournament, but I just think it's a little too top-heavy. There's just a lot of deep teams in this Western Conference. So I don't think they'll make the play-in tournament, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were to happen. Hot take, we should send Ty to the G League so he could develop. It's not a bad take. It's just going to come down to Daishen Nix. And something I was talking about earlier in the stream is I bet you if Daishen Nix was not a 53% free throw shooter last season, and if he actually could make his free throws, they'd feel a lot more confident with running Daishen Nix as your backup point guard. They might decide to do that, Chris. They might decide to run with Nix, put Ty in the G League, because another year of Daishen Nix in the G League with the stats he put up last year, 26-7, if we're rounding up 26-8, I don't think he'd be too thrilled with that. And I do think a team would look at Daishen Nix and be like, we'll give you a spot in the rotation. We'll take a shot on you, especially as we get into the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if that were to go down, but I think it'll be Ty. I'm hoping it's Ty. I'm rooting for Knicks, so we'll see what the free throw shooting in the next couple of games. Before we get into Thomas's question, let me just go back. Here we go. Perfect. What's your favorite era of Rockets ball, and where do you see current Rockets in 2 years? So I haven't been watching Rockets basketball for too long. So I have to go with the James Harden era because that team was electric every single night. I can understand why some people might not like watching James Harden play or Luka Doncic play. I can understand it. I think it's more of a casual take. So for basketball fans, like if you're any type, if you have any love for the game of basketball, I think you probably love watching James Harden and Luka Doncic play. They play with this patience. poise. They know what they're doing. The other team has to completely scheme around them. So I'm going to go with James Harden basketball. And where do I see the Rockets in 2 years? I think the Rockets in 2 years will, at the very, very worst, be a actual playing team. At the very worst, because I think that they'll take a look at this free agency class. We have a very deep free agency class heading into this upcoming season. And that's really, to me, whether it's this year, you're going to have a lot of money to spend this upcoming offseason with John Wall off the books now, with Eric Gordon coming off of the books, Christian Woods off the books. The really only money decision they have to make is Kevin Porter Jr. And I don't think KPJ would get $25 million a year. I think is a lot. I think honestly KPJ's contract will be somewhere between $18 and $20 million, which is something I would do as long as he improves from last season. If KPJ statistically and even with the eyes doesn't improve, maybe they decide to do something differently. But I also think you'd need some of your younger guys to really take that leap early on. I think KPJ will be our point guard next season, but there's a bunch of guys you can target that are entering free agency in the next couple of seasons. I know a big one for Rocket fans, or for some Rocket fans, I should say, is Jaylen Brown. I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Jaylen Brown decided to come to Houston, where it's like, especially if Houston wins 30 plus games this upcoming season, where it's like, hold up, I've got a guaranteed spot. I'm going to be the guy, but I also have help around me, and it's young help. All the Rockets are looking to do right now is find the guys you're looking to go into the future with. That's what Rafael Stone, to me, is doing this upcoming season. He's evaluating these guys. He's evaluating your Kevin Porter Jr., I think Şengün's safe, but you're evaluating Usman Garuba, Bruno Fernando, KJ, everybody on the bench, Josh Christopher. Are these the guys that we want to surround with veterans, new talent? Are these guys that can help us get into the championship? And I think the answer is yes. So I think in 2 years from now, the Houston Rockets will be a competitive team. Even if Houston decides to not spend any money in this offseason, the way we're looking in preseason, the way these guys looked in summer league, and the way I think we'll look next season, especially just going off of how we looked in the second half in those final 23 games last season, I think Houston will have enough talent on your current roster in 2 years where you're at least going to be in the plane. You're at least going to be in it. And then we got guys like Tubi saying the Rockets will be in the play-in tournament this season. So it's going to be interesting. Rafael Stone is the perfect GM, I think, he's very smart. What's up, Swag? How you doing, man? He's just very smart. He's very calculated. Just like Troy Weaver. I think the Rockets are literally going to do what Detroit did kind of next season, where you're starting to unload the talent that isn't fitting your future. But you look at Detroit's roster right now, Detroit will be in the play-in contention. Houston, I think, is hit or miss. I would lean more towards I don't think we'll be in the play-in. But with Detroit, you have guys like especially Bojan Bogdanovic now, but you acquired players like Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel. You acquired some interesting veterans in this offseason that I think Detroit will be competitive. So I think this time next season, even if Houston doesn't make too many moves, I think at worst we'll be a play-in team next season even. You'll at least be in the hunt for the play-in tournament. So the important thing is, and this is something Rafael Stone definitely values, which is the reason KJ Martin Jr. is still on the roster, the reason Eric Gordon is still on the roster, he values options. It allows you to be creative. Imagine our offseason is completely different from the Lakers offseason. The Lakers missed the playoffs. It's a much different roster, much different. They have LeBron, they have Anthony Davis, they have Russ, they have a bunch of top 75 all-time players and current players. But the Lakers and the Nets and all these competitive teams, you just have very limited options. Houston doesn't have limited options. Look at all the roster spots that guys are competing for. Look at this bench. It's a lot of players who deserve to be on an NBA roster. So I very much appreciate Rafael Stone and how he just wants to stay flexible is the word I was looking for. You're remaining flexible. So Anybody go ahead, drop some remaining questions. I actually just came up with the idea. I might clip some of these to post on the channel for those of you guys who missed the live streams. Just get some talking points up. I'll have to go back and edit these. I got a lot of stuff to edit tonight, so maybe it'll be more of a tomorrow thing. I plan on recording and posting a Rockets video later tonight centered around our rookies, but we'll wait and see. Maybe I'll decide to do maybe this has clips in it. I don't know. We'll see. But Tuesday, October 4th, we got 3 more nights that you got to get to until we got more Houston Rockets live basketball. And Houston Rockets regular season basketball is now officially about 2 weeks away. So we're 2 weeks away from meaningful basketball games. And it's just very exciting. Real quick, as we wait for any possible last-minute questions, you can see my Instagrams right there at Jackson Alstro. Go ahead, give that a follow. A lot of really cool people have been following the Instagram recently. We've had some musicians. We've had some diehard fans. We've had a little bit of everything, so I appreciate all the love. But my Twitter's down below. My NBA show every single day. Links down below there, too. Name a better combo than Kai Soto and Lakers Daily. A lot of love. Shout out Kai Soto for essentially getting pretty much 2 of my channels to monetization. I still think Kai Soto is going to be a NBA player. I think he's at worst going to be a solid role player in the NBA, but we'll wait and see. I love that the 36ers took down the Houston Rockets. I would hate that. I love that the NBL 36ers took down the Phoenix Suns the other night, man. Phoenix is a playing team. Sorry. But real quick, I also wanted to mention I'm starting a new thing. I'm trying to do every night, but I can already tell it's going to be really hard. I won't be able to do one tomorrow night. I already know that. I won't be able to do one this weekend. On my main channel, on Will Upton, I am starting these things called Late Night Basketball Talk. I'm still working on the name, but it's like right here. This is kind of like a podcast. I kind of treat these like a podcast where it's the Let's Talk Rockets. This is Let's Talk Rockets number 4. But every night I'm doing a late night Rockets talk because there's just nowhere. I've always kind of noticed this. There's nowhere live that's like covering every team and just the NBA in general, like right after the games happen and even as the games happen. Bruno Fernando. I like Bruno Fernando a lot, right? I really do. The issue with giving Bruno 4 years guaranteed money is now, you also have a guaranteed contract, Garrison Matthews, got guys like KJ Martin Jr., Usman Garuba all fighting for these minutes. The guaranteed contract of Bruno just means we have to get rid of at least one more player on this Rocket squad. That's why I think a trade will happen. I still think a trade for Houston will happen in the coming days, or at the very, we're 2 weeks away from the start of the regular season. I think a trade is going to happen in the next 2 weeks. I don't know what it is going to be, but Rafael Stone has some decisions to make. I like Bruno. I don't want him to get, he's 24 years old too, so it's not like he's necessarily getting in the way for young development, but I personally would have liked to see Usman Garuba secure a backup role. But I like Bruno. It's not like they're paying him a crazy amount of money. I like Bruno. I like what he offered us at the end of the season last year. So nice depth piece to have. They decided to get him up long term. We'll see how it works out. But I think Willie Cauley-Stein, he hasn't had anything going with Houston, but he might just be. They might have already just kiboshed Willie Cauley-Stein. Last time we went live, I had no update on Willie, no update on why he didn't play. We still don't. There was no sign of him at Media Day, which was weird because we got him recently. I'm trying to narrow this search the last day. I still have nothing. Can't forget about Derek Favors, too. How could I forget about Derek Favors? Derek Favors still on this roster, too. So, excuse me. I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my voice right now. So we're going to call it. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to tonight's Let's Talk Rockets episode number 4. Like I said, these are kind of like an in-between of podcast and just a live stream / video. So I might clip some of this stuff and post it. Dude, I'm literally losing my voice. Really weird. So follow the socials down below. Like I said, I plan on posting a Rockets video later tonight. We'll see what happens in the night, but I'm gonna go eat some tacos. It's Tuesday, obviously, so it's taco night. Shout out, and appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Although I don't know, tomorrow or Thursday, probably more Thursday.